A casi 20 años del estreno de Legalmente Rubia, la primera parte, hablé con la diseñadora de producción que se encargó de darle toda la estética tan característica a esta película. Me habló sobre cómo fue justamente lograr que esos rosas quedaran tan bien en toda la película, sobre lo que significa el mensaje de esta película protagonizada por Reese Witherspoon y sobre qué va a pasar con una potencial, con una posible tercera parte.
We now return to Mira Akien and Contre with our latest interview.
Reese is the bravest of the brave to just go for how far she went with that character. It was a remarkable performance. I think she carried the whole movie.
This is the type of girl that Warner wants to marry. A law student. Going to Harvard is the only way I'm going to get the love of my life back.
It was very hard to find places in LA that could play Harvard. And also just to give a sense tree-wise, you know, and all of seasonally, like fall. You don't have fall in LA. So that was kind of a problem, you know, as a designer. It's not the most impossible problem. It's one you have a lot when you're shooting in California. For all the stuff with Elle Woods, all the Harvard stuff was shot at a distance because of permissions and, you know, because they're public institutions, they cannot, as far as I know, deny you permission to portray the campus. And, you know, we never got any feedback about.
For my admissions essay,
Action.
I'm going to tell all of you why I'm going to make an amazing lawyer.
To commit to being a smart person inside, but, you know, sort of hiding in this, you know, wealthy bubble where appearances are more important. But, you know, she had a heart of gold. You saw that right away, you know, when she wanted to share her muffins. And she never was mean to anybody. She was always, she took everything on the chin and smiled through it, even though some of it was hurtful. But I think, you know, in LA, it's not hard to find the examples of, you know, she could have been Paris Hilton or, you know, anybody like that. And I think the fun part was just how we went for her signature color pink, which as a designer was very liberating. I've always used a lot of color in my sets. Wherever she went, we just put the pink and, you know, just pushed it out there as far as we could.
I feel comfortable using legal jargon in everyday life. I object.
It was bold, you know, I have to say I was concerned. It's a hard color for a DP to shoot, wall color wise, so we had to break it up a lot, and the costumes, of course, had to contrast and not match completely, and, you know, so it was very much a dance between the wardrobe department, the costume designer, and myself.
Malibu Barbie lives.
I've come to join your study group.
Our group is full.
Oh, is this like an RSVP thing?
No, it's like a smart people thing.
It was written that she wore pink, and pink was her signature color, and, you know, it was a fun way to show her femininity and her youth and her sort of pluckiness. And I worked really hard to kind of invent a pink that wasn't too pale, you know, also not too shocking, not too Barbie a pink. So it was kind of a warm pink, had a lot of salmon in it, and I thought that really spoke of her wholeness, you know, the way a color can, I don't know, bring out a person's personality, and she was really game for it, you know, and my department was so good at finding pink things. It wasn't that easy when we were doing the movie because we sort of brought pink back into fashion. Like the next fall, I noticed like everybody was wearing pink and there were
Yeah.
pink handbags, and it only took a minute to enter the zeitgeist, and that was fun because I loved seeing like little girls and teenage girls and young women kind of empowered by a really feminine color.
You're not smart enough, sweetie.
I'll show you how valuable Elle Woods can be.
You have a resume? It's pink.
And it's scented. I think it gives it a little something extra.
For me, it's like that looks can be very deceiving. Like how someone appears is not necessarily who they are, and how important it is to, you know, ask the question, have the conversation. I mean, it's really applicable today to politics in America and, how people judge someone like a book by its cover. And I also think it was very empowering for young women in the second wave of feminism to be able to be feminine. That femininity didn't necessarily mean you couldn't be a feminist. And I think that empowerment of female intelligence and going into the workplace and still having a nice purse or pink scented, note paper they aren't necessarily exclusive. Whereas, when I was growing up, they were.
Yeah.
A woman to be taken seriously had to be more like a man. And I think that message is still true for young women today, that they don't feel there's a dichotomy or any kind of conflict between being feminine and being intelligent and empowered and having a voice. I mean, I think all of those things still really ring true. And I know young girls still tell me, "Oh, you made that movie? That changed my life." And they were 14 when they saw it.
Yeah.
So to me, that's, in its silliness and in its gentle approach with humor, it's somehow managed to tell a story that, like Good Will Hunting, they're both Cinderella stories,
You're fired.
What?
I have new representation.
Reese Witherspoon.
The producer, Mark Platt, and the two writers, Lutz and Kellen, they really wanted to do another one. They felt like we really wanted to see where Elle went after law school, and I thought that was a great instinct. And they thought she should get into politics, a little bit. And she did it through her dog, dog rights, which was, a funny kind of take on all the different rights that we were going through at that time. And again, like subtle humor to tell something that's true to all of us, like what is your cause and how do you express it and where would you be willing to go to make that cause real. And she loved her dog, so it was an easy transition. And it was really fun going to Washington, like having her in the halls of government as opposed to halls of Harvard, and like she did in the first one, sort of taking over, like she just went in, smile blazing and, not really knowing what she was getting into, but she makes friends along the way.
Yeah.
She always made friends along the way and allies. And so it was really fun to build that Watergate apartment. That was the best part for me as a designer because, she had her whole kind of world there, but also her nerve center for the movement and, where they all met. And it was great fun. We had a good time doing it, yeah. There was supposed to be a third one. I don't know if it's going to happen. I talked to them about a year ago about it, and they were still writing a script, but it's going to be very hard to take what's happened now, I think, and make it politically, because the next step would be she's a senator, right? She's Nancy Pelosi. That's what I think. So we'll see. I would love to see her do that.
You remember when we spent those 4 amazing hours in the hot tub after winter formal? This is so much better than that.